Hey, Travel Brats!
Happy Travel Brat Tuesday!
You got Shof.
And yet. We're the worst. And we are coming to you from the studio today. We're going to talk about, shocking, Colorado again!
Oh.
But guys, there's so many places to talk about when you go to Colorado. If you like the awesome bouginess of Aspen to the rugged Rockies of the entire state to the Flatirons, Boulder, Denver, Estes Park. Ooh, speaking of Estes Park, guys, that is what we're going to talk about today. That's our focus. If anybody has listened to other episodes, and if you're a new travel brat, welcome. But if you're a previous travel brat, you guys know that a lot of family I have lives up in Colorado, and my aunt lives in Boulder. My brother lives just outside of Denver. From Denver he lived in Boulder, then Denver, then Arvada, then Westminster, Colorado, and they just know and love Colorado so much. So do my whole family. But This is exactly why they decided, him and his now wife, but back when she was his fiance, to get married in Estes Park. So this episode is all about all the fun there is to have in Estes Park. From the amazing hiking to scenery to lodges that you can stay in, restaurants, dining, drinking, all
And guys,
that.
I'll tell you, I mean, you're going to see the photos that she's going to post during this week on social media. But when she was sending me the photos from this wedding, I was like, that looks like a backdrop.
Oh,
it doesn't even look real. And I've been to Colorado. I've gotten to experience a little bit of the Rockies out that way, not nearly as much as Sophia, but it really didn't even look real. It was so crazy.
Oh, I know, isn't it? What Natalie's talking about
beautiful.
actually is the Black Canyon Inn. So there's an inn in Estes called Black Canyon Inn, and it has an amazing wedding venue. And it's like tucked in, in the valley of all these gorgeous mountains. And it's actually I believe it's the second most popular wedding destination in the United States.
Really?
Yep. It's everybody. They have weddings like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So when my brother and his fiance wanted to book their date, they had to book like over a year out and on a Friday, even though they wanted a Saturday, because the Saturdays for the next like couple years were booked.
Totally booked.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? People must wait like 3 years to get married there. So it was this incredible venue. And obviously, like, it's overlooking the valley and the mountains, but like you can also see deer and just wandering around.
The deer in Colorado, and anyone that has been to the Rockies, the deer are so comfortable with humans.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, deer, moose. This is a particular.
Even a fox. I think your husband was telling me about a fox that was just like, do. Hello, people. I'm so friendly. I'm not scared of you. Like, I love that. The wildlife is weirdly friendly.
Well, and what's cool is we're already on this subject, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the cool, because you will find tons of animals in Colorado, but in Estes Park, if you guys don't know, they have one of the best national parks there. It's Rocky Mountain National Park. And it's like, a 10 to 20 minute drive, depending on which entrance you're going in, away from where we stayed. And they've fox, deer, mule deer, which are deer with the bigger ears, bighorn sheep, elk and Rocky Mountain elk, moose, and you have those are all animals that I literally saw within like a couple hours of going into the park. That. Yeah, between sunset, I went my husband and I went one night during sunset, and then a following day we just drove around in the daytime.
The mule deer sounds especially cute.
They are cute. They are cute. They're funny. I'm like deer.
Like the bunny rabbits of the deer.
They are. But that's a perfect explanation. They are. And then also some animals in there that we didn't see that they do have are, and you have to be careful if you see some of these, but like coyotes, mountain lions, black bears, and yellow-bellied marmot.
Yellow-bellied marmot.
Marmot. Yeah. So again, super cool. You can see all these animals. Go out there with a camera and like just take pictures of them. Enjoy the scenery. It's really like, it's big, but it's not that big. Like if you were driving through it, you can, there are some hiking trails, but a lot of times you can just drive through the entire park and like see all the scenery. Nice. So that's Rocky Mountain National Park. That's what Estes Park is known for. Obviously the Black Canyon Inn and the wedding destination. It's a little bit of a touristy town, I would say. And it's actually, in fact, because how some places, they start not touristy and they continue to become touristy. This is the opposite. This is becoming less touristy. Like instead of more like t-shirt shops and stuff, there's more like cute boutique stores being open, breweries, things like that. So
that's also very like, I feel like the Colorado culture leans more that way, especially in the last 10 years. Leans less toward those kind of like typical touristy shops.
I would agree with that. Yeah, so it was cool for me to see like, okay, it's a touristy town sort of, but it's kind of going to shift out. They had some really fun like little boutiques, and I do know my husband and I always love a good year-round Christmas store, and we always talk about the one in Fairhope, Alabama. This one had like one that was like 3 times as big.
Whoa.
And we got a little bunny with real like little bunny fur, like to like be a little memento of Estes Park, and we're hanging on the Christmas tree. Yeah, so it was again really fun shopping on the streets. And the Black Canyon Inn, what was very neat about that is, you know, we've talked about like resorts, and it's not necessarily like a resort. It's the purpose is for the wedding venue. But so you have the you have the mountains, and then you have in this like at the beginning the check-in, then below the check-in you have all these cool like suites, and they are like kind of little like not townhouses but like lodges that have multiple floors and rooms.
Yeah.
So my brother and his fiance were in one of those, and then us as like me and my husband, my mom, my dad, you know, all the family members above the venue. So it's like the suites down there, the check-in, the venue, and then above is this like little building where it has separate rooms. So we each got a room, and the rooms, guys, I cannot wait to show you on Instagram.
Just hearing how you described them.
They were so cool. I mean, ours, okay, you have to choose basically. So there's 2 floors. There's only 2 floors, and I think there's only like, you know, 50, 60 rooms. But, and there may be less. But literally on the top floor, you have this amazing terrace that looks out over Estes Park. On the bottom floor, though, you have a tub. They have big brass bathtubs in every room, and
they were like, I need the tub, I need the tub.
And they all have gas fireplaces. You turn it on, it immediately turns on. So I sat in that tub with the fireplace right on my right, like in the dark, just like relaxing.
Yeah,
it was
so dreamy.
It was so nice. So again, Black Canyon, it's awesome, and I just love the way they decorate the whole place. I'll have to show you guys, and it's spacious, it's beautiful. Another spot that you cannot go to Estes Park without at least visiting this if you don't stay there, it's the Stanley Hotel. And the significance of the Stanley Hotel is it was the hotel that they filmed the inside of The Shining with. So
really,
yeah, and they've redone a lot since then because I didn't recognize a lot of it. But what's cool is they'll do ghost tours, and they'll do like Shining tours, and they have props.
Of course,
yeah, they have like a little mini Shining museum in there, and they have this gorgeous outside. You know what like shocked me was when you go there, it's all white and beautiful on the outside. Again, the outside wasn't used for The Shining, the inside, but it looks like a beautiful like Florida old Southern home.
Really?
Yeah, or like, you know, not necessarily in Florida, but it was white with like wood, so kind of like Florida, but like south. It looked very southern, and it was like kind of up there placed in the mountains where everything else is like stone or log cabins.
Right.
So it definitely stood out. They do a lot of weddings at the actual Stanley Hotel. Yeah, and I would say one of the other really cool parts about it was they have this really fun whiskey bar. So like the first night we got there, I had a little glass of amaretto at the whiskey bar, hanging out with everybody, and then we went back for dinner on the last night with my dad, and I did not expect their whiskey bar. I mean, it's called Cascades Restaurant and Lounge, but I did not expect their restaurant to be as good as it was. I ordered lobster bisque thinking like, oh, lobster up here, it's going to be, you know, but I like lobster bisque, so I might as well go for it. It was some of the best lobster bisque I've ever had.
Huh.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then to make things matters better, because I mean, Colorado does their meat well, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
The lamb was so good. I got lobster bisque and lamb, and it was like, dang, I thought I was going to have like a burger at the whiskey bar. Like, I didn't expect this to be like a bougie
you think you're
dinner.
Gonna have more of like a beef leaning
Yeah, I didn't expect.
meal.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't look at the menu, so I didn't expect this restaurant to be like fancy. And I was like, what a lovely last evening here, like last supper. But yeah. So again, guys, go check out the Stanley Hotel. It's right down the street. Another thing, since we're on the topic of the Stanley Hotel, I would say is we did a brunch after the wedding. The wedding was on a Friday night, and then Saturday, like. Early afternoon, late morning was a brunch at the Stanley Hotel. Also has the Post Chicken and Beer like venue, and so it's like a restaurant, and we did brunch there, and it also has dinner, but it's just a great spot. It had really good fried chicken, waffles, all that. It is kind of southern almost, but it was really good. Like everything there was really good, and you can go there for a regular meal. So I would say those are the many things the Stanley Hotel has to offer. The Black Canyon is more of a wedding venue, but it was gorgeous. And make sure if you stay at the Black Canyon, because the doors are facing the outside, instead of the Stanley, everything's inside, is you make sure you lock your doors, because there are bears, and they will, like, animals can
like
push
find
your
their
door.
way in.
Yeah, they can find their way in. Yeah, so you need to lock your doors if you stay there. But anyway, Oh, and on that last
Fun
note,
facts.
this was really funny, is actually the lock on my little sister stayed with my niece, Scarlett, because my little sister's like 16 and my niece is like 11. So they're almost like sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And they got locked in their room multiple times. The lock on their door like wouldn't work. They're like, Sophia, we can't get out. Like, we're locked from on the inside.
That's terrifying.
It was really funny. So that was just a little side note that was kind of funny. I feel bad for them. Glad it wasn't my room. That and my sister's room, which was right next to them because she's Scarlett's mom, her tub wouldn't work. The draining thing was broken. So I'm like,
I'm so
poor
glad.
people.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. Because we all like just basically like toss coins and we're like, I'll take that room, I'll take this room. And I was like, yes, our room's functioning.
Yeah.
But anyway, they fixed it. Small things, but kind of funny.
Were they? But were they quick to? I mean, you said they fixed it. Like the hotel staff, like they were.
Oh, I don't think they ever fixed the tub for my sister.
Okay.
No, or the door. I mean, I don't know. I don't. You know what was interesting about? And again, like, I know that the Stanley Hotel will have staff on a little later, or at least like restaurant staff. Like when I was looking for my dad, the place was so big. He was like, "We're at the whiskey bar." The first time we got there, and I was like, "So we're wandering around the grounds," and I'm like, "What building is that?" Like I don't see.
Yeah.
And literally the waiter like came out and was like, "Hey, we're over here. Like, so come on inside. Like you got to come in through this way when it's nighttime."
I know that it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, and then but the Black Canyon Inn, it was so much smaller, and it was basically just rooms that you didn't really like. We had to pick up. We came later than 5:00, and we had to pick up our keys in like a little envelope outside the door because the staff leaves at like 5:00 every night.
Yeah, okay,
very old school.
I see. Which it has its charm.
It does have its charm, and I would say what's cool about the venue for weddings is, again, I didn't do this for my wedding. Is I had all moving parts and separate vendors, but what was nice about their wedding is it was a lot calmer and relaxed because everybody was in one spot. Like there were no cars, there were no driving, there were no transporting things. Everyone walked up and down. Your room was right outside of the bridal suite. So say if I forgot my earrings or whatever, could have taken me like 30 seconds to walk to my room to grab my earrings. And then all the vendors were like taken care of by the venue. So if you guys are getting married and you're looking for a beautiful place in the mountains to get married, it's a really good option. And then they'll take care of everything from dinner. They assign you a wedding planner. They assign you officiant. Like it's all in one place, which makes it fairly easy. And then I would say, since we were kind of on the subject of dinner, a couple good spots in Estes Park to eat is the Dunraven. It's like a semi-casual restaurant, and it's beautiful. It's on the like lower in the valley, and it has a beautiful view of the lake. So you're like on the lake. And then the Bird's Nest is actually a spot where we did the rehearsal dinner on Thursday night. It's usually a coffee shop. Yeah, but they have a top portion. Like you go up the stairs, and it's this beautiful like venue with chandeliers, and they do like little events there. So it was really, I loved it. It was really cool. It was beautiful. Cool. It was like such a neat vibe. And then across the street, they have a restaurant. So it's coffee shop, event venue space, and then an actual restaurant across the street called Bird and Gym. So those are two spots to eat if you guys are there. If you're hanging with friends or just want like walking around shopping and you get hungry for some snack or some beer, the Barrel is a great spot. We actually did their meet and greet on Thursday afternoon since the rehearsal wasn't literally till 6:30 because again I told you they have weddings every night. Yeah. So they had to have a wedding, get everybody out, and then we came in for the rehearsal.
Wow.
Yep. So the Barrel is fun for like hanging with friends. They have kind of games and things like that. And then the Wheelbarrow is another fun brewery. And then I would say for breakfast and lunch, we did talk about the Post. That would be like number one. And then we ate at this, the Egg of Estes quite a few times.
The Egg of Estes.
It's just one of those little diners that kind of looks ratchet on the outside and then has like really everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we have a friend, my aunt has a friend who lives in, shout out to Patty. She lives, not my mom Patty, there's another Patty. She lives in Estes, her and her husband. And they're so cool. They actually came down to Fort Myers with the Red Cross after the hurricane. Like they do a lot of kind of that, and they're interested. Like they do park ranger stuff and hiking, biking tours. They're very outdoorsy. They've lived in Estes for a long time, and so they gave us like top breakfast places that they liked in Estes. So Top Notch Bakery and Cafe, Mountain Home Cafe, the Egg of Estes, which we ate at twice, Kind Coffee, and Bighorn Restaurant. So pass it along to others, guys. Those are great spots. And then we did talk a little bit about Rocky Mountain National Park. And I would say if you're going to do one thing there, depending on however long, no matter how long you're there, you've got to go check out Rocky Mountain National Park.
Oh, yeah.
So all in all, it was a great weekend. I was super excited because I had literally never been to Estes Park. But it was such a place to remember. And yes, the pictures, guys, we can't wait to share them with you. They were like spectacular.
Truly. Now, one thing, because we don't really talk about national parks a lot. I feel like a lot of the places that we go or at least I've noticed that
Mm-hmm.
national parks haven't come up a lot in our conversations, even
Right.
though like Colorado has so many of them, Florida has so many of them. I
Yeah.
mean, there are lots of
There's
so
in the
many
Carolinas. There's
in
some
the
in Florida.
Carolinas.
They're
Yeah, I
all
mean,
over.
I grew up literally my back door was a national park,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like one thing to say about national parks that's really cool is when you go to a national park, you basically get a year pass. Like the pass for getting into one equals here. Now you have a whole year and you can go to
Right.
as many as you want and you don't have to pay any extra.
What
Some
I will
of them,
say,
I think. but
yeah, they're constantly
are-
changing it, but
Mhm.
like what you said is you pay a yearly fee. So like my aunt, I said, hey, dad's friend gave us a ticket for the week to get into Rocky Mountain National. I tried to give it to her because she was driving the car, and the car, typically just the car needs one. But she was like, oh, I'm going to go a lot this year to National Park, so I'm just going to go ahead and buy mine for the year. And then I know they do, I forget the exact age, whether it's 60, 65,
Right.
but they do senior. My grandpa got his National Park pass for like,
For, like, a
$5.
crazy good deal.
Yeah, for like the
and
entire
that's the thing
his
is
life.
like truly these park tickets aren't really that expensive.
No, they're not.
And
If you get
really
good use
can
out
get
of
the
them
good,
too.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I remember my sister and brother-in-law when they went to this area. I don't think I can't remember which park it was. It may actually have been one in Utah,
Mhm.
but they did that, and then they literally were like, okay, we're going to design the next year of travel wherever we want to go. We are going to aim to try to go to as
Yeah.
many national parks as possible. And anytime we visit friends that are near one, we'll take a little extra
See.
excursion there and excursion there. And I thought that was so brilliant because
It's-
you
no,
get
it's
to
smart.
see so much of the United States through the eyes of the national parks.
I'm
so cool.
so totally laughing right now because my aunt, she is like gung ho on national parks, and her friend gave her this national park trivia game. And so like the first
yeah.
night when we got in on Saturday, we stayed up in Colorado like 2 weeks to kind of just work from there and explore and stuff. And what's amazing about the weather this time of year is you can get up there. We got up there the week before the wedding, and this is again mid to end of April. On the Saturday we got up there were buckets of snow
Yeah.
up at the Colorado Copper Mountain. And so we were like, screw it, we're going to go ski. So we
Mhm.
drove up there as soon as we got to the airport. My aunt picked us up. We skied all day Saturday, came back down. By the time we left, like literally a week and a half, 2 weeks later, it was like
So
high
it's-
70s.
Yeah, so the season was over.
High 70s. We were in Boulder. It was
Yeah.
like sunny, beautiful. We're walking around in sundresses and shorts. It's like spring in Colorado. Oh man! But
Oh,
make
it's
sure you go
amazing.
late enough to where the snow, a lot of it's melted. Especially if you're going
If
to go
you
on
really
hikes.
do want to experience
Yeah.
the springiness.
And
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in our Boulder episode because you don't want to go expecting to hike a bunch, and even if it's still too early, you may have snow that hasn't quite.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not like a gung ho, I've got my spiked snow climbing shoes, then you don't want to like venture too far.
Right.
So yeah, but I would say, and that trivia was so funny. It was on all the national parks, so I feel like I got like a history lesson
Yeah,
over 3 hours of playing this
truly.
game with them.
You
Yeah,
know all the deets.
Yeah,
on the
so-
national parks.
yeah. Anyway,
Well,
guys.
cool.
We
Estes
love you, and we hope that this can be of assistance if you guys want to go to Estes Park just for a getaway, or if you are dying to get married there.
Ah.
Catch you guys next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.